I want to bring in independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. As you know, the winner, I should say, of the New York primary, that congressional district, describes herself as a Democratic socialist. You're a socialist. She also worked on your 2016 campaign. You congratulated her on Twitter, saying, among other things, she demonstrated once again what progressive grassroots politics can do. Is the movement that you inspired in 2016 now, for all practical purposes, from your perspective, Senator, taking over large chunks of the Democratic Party?
I look at it, that's not the way I look at it. That's kind of an inside the Beltway approach. The way I see it is that what Alexandria did is ran a campaign focusing on the issues of importance to her district. That is guaranteeing health care as a right, not a privilege, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, making sure that the wealthy pay their fair share of taxes, making public colleges and universities tuition free. So, Wolf, what I believe is that what Alexandria did is not only focus on the right issues, she also ran a strong grassroots campaign, and despite being outspent 10-1, she won a pretty strong victory. We are seeing that type of effort all across this country. You mentioned Ben Jealous in Maryland. Ben took on much of the Democratic establishment in Maryland. He ended up winning by 10 points last night, also talking about exactly the same issues that Alexandria talked about. Bottom line is, all over this country, people are asking themselves, how does it happen? You got 3 people in this country who own more wealth than the bottom half of the American people. How does it happen that you have a political and economic system dominated by big money while the middle class continues to struggle? Unemployment is low in America right now, and yet still median wages are going down for the average worker. So the American people are demanding a government that looks like them, that represents them, and not just the wealthy and the powerful. That's what her victory is about.
Just curious, Senator, you agree with her that ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, should be abolished?
I think that this disastrous immigration policy should be abolished. I happen to have voted against ICE, the formation of ICE, back in 2002. What you have right now is an immigration policy that I think most Americans understand is not what this country is about. You don't rip little children away from the arms of their mother. You don't leave 1.8 million kids eligible for DACA subject to deportation. So whether you abolish ICE or not is not the major issue. The major issue is having an immigration system which is effective, which means comprehensive immigration reform. It means protecting the DACA people. It means moving to citizenship for the 10 million people who are undocumented. That, by the way, Wolf, is not what Bernie Sanders believes. That's what the American people believe and want to see happen.
She also, as you know, called for President Trump's impeachment. Are you on the same side on that issue with her?
Again, there are people who feel that I'm a member of the United States Senate. I'm going to have to be, if impeachment proceedings go forward, I'm going to be judging on that. So it's premature to me to be calling for his impeachment. Second of all, we have the Mueller investigation, which is ongoing, and I think it'll be, from my perspective, jumping the gun. But you see, all of those issues, whether it's ICE, whether it's the impeachment, that's media stuff, Wolf. The real issue is you got a middle class that is struggling, candidates who speak to the needs of working people, who are willing to run grassroots campaigns. And I would hope that, inside the Beltway folks start paying attention to that. As I said, Vangelis did the same thing. We're seeing it all over the country, and I'm very excited about that type of movement.
The House Minority Leader, Nancy Pelosi, she sort of seemed to shrug off the results in New York. I'll listen to what she said.
Pelosi, to that end, if the Democratic Party is increasingly younger, more female, more diverse, more progressive, should the Democratic House leadership look that way?
Well, I'm female, I'm progressive, and the rest of them. What's your problem? 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
The problem, Democratic voters in New York last night seemed to express that problem.
Yeah, they did. They made a choice in one district. So let's not get yourself carried away as an expert on demographics and the rest of that within the caucus or outside the caucus.
She said it was only one district. She said, let's not get carried away as an expert on demographic, inside or outside the caucus. Is she right, Senator, or do you think establishment figures like her should now be worried?
You see, Wolf, again, in all due respect, those are the media type questions. The real issue is not establishment. It's what do people stand for? There are people in the establishment who fight every day for working people. I respect them and I support them. There are people in the establishment who are owned by corporate interests. I will fight them. So the issue is, how do we elect a government that actually represents the needs of working families in this country? What are the issues? Mothers today are watching this program, can't afford affordable childcare. We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We should not be the only nation not to provide health care to all people as a right. We should not have this ugly and grotesque level of income and wealth disparity. We should be dealing with climate change, taking on the fossil fuel industry. Those are the issues that we have got to deal with.
Well,
we need are candidates, whether they're black or white, young or old, who are going to address those issues.
If the Democratic Party were to adopt a platform that looked more like she was running on, including what you love, universal health care, Medicare for all, federal jobs guarantees, free college tuition, would you switch your party affiliation from independent to Democrat?
Again, Wolf, that's inside the Beltway stuff. The fact is, the real question that you ask me is, if candidates run on those issues, are they going to win? And you know what? I think they will win. Let us never forget that in 2014, the last midterm elections we had the lowest voter turnout since World War II. Over 60% of the American people didn't vote. If Democrats are going to run and win, what they need to is engage people, grow the voter turnout. And you do that by running on the issues that Alexandria ran on, that Ben Jealous ran on, and that I run on. I think that is the future of the Democratic Party.
Let me quickly get your reaction to what the Supreme Court has just decided, and the president just tweeted about it as well. Let me read to you his tweet on this union issue. Supreme Court rules in favor of non-union workers who are now, as an example, able to support a candidate of his or her choice without having those who control the union deciding for them. Big loss for the coffers of the Democrats. Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, he reacted by saying, I'll read to you what he said, the Supreme Court is no longer a judicial body. It is an arm of the Republican Party. Every decision they've made has simply been a rubber stamp for the Republican agenda. That's Congressman Adam Smith. You, of course, have fought to expand union rights your whole life. Do you agree with Congressman Smith that the United States Supreme Court is now just an arm of the Republican Party, given all these 5-4 decisions?
There is a reason why, under Obama, the Republicans worked day and night to block Obama's ability to appoint a Supreme Court justice, because the Supreme Court is very important. It is no great secret that you now have 5 conservative members of the Supreme Court who, decision after decision, whether it's immigration, whether it's union issues, will support the wealthy and the powerful. What the Janus decision is about is weakening the trade union movement. Unions are one of the vehicles in our society by which workers can earn decent wages and decent benefits. And it's Trump, of course, who claims to be a great friend of working people, but who supports this decision, understands that working people, when they come together in unions, have some degree of political power. Not quite what the Koch brothers and other billionaires have. They have some political power. So from Trump's point of view, from the billionaire class's point of view, this is a good decision. From my perspective, it is a terrible decision which will hurt working families all across the country.
Senator, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.